Every person fits a category in your mind, whether you're conscious about it or not. Hopefully by now you're able to differentiate between certain tendencies, whether they're good or bad, from certain people, right? And I'm sure you dealt with a lot of people throughout your whole time, and you're watching this video because you're trying to figure out, how do you handle people? And I'm gonna be honest, problems arise when you think you're very hopeful that people can change their ways, but in reality, you gotta accept who they are. And majority of the people are not gonna change because you tell them to change. They need the desire in order to change, and they need that tension, right? That tension will get relieved if they have a greater desire to change. But we're talking about how to handle people right now. So, like I was saying, the approach where you gotta understand that problems arise when you're hopeful that people could change, and that's like a negative approach to life, because I'm not saying you gotta be hopeful, but instead you gotta accept who they are. It's a better approach, accepting people who they are and what they stand for. For example, if you tell your best friend or your friend in general a secret, but this friend is known for not keeping secrets, whose fault is that? I'm sure you know it's your own fault, right? By now. Come on, you can't play dumb. You gotta understand that. That's your responsibility. That's your own fault. You gotta take your own responsibilities taken care of. And I'm pretty sure you have enough experience to tell whether or not a person can keep secrets or not keep secrets, or whatever the situation is, right? But you're expecting them to be something they were not. And instead, you gotta accept them to be themselves. You gotta accept them to be, all right, this is a person who doesn't keep secrets. All right, this is the person who doesn't keep promises. Okay. Don't expect them to change out of the blue. That's your own fault. All I'm saying is, think about who you tell yourself, who you surround yourself with. Don't fall victim to your own impulses, because at the end of the day, that's your own fault if you do. Dealing with people is very difficult sometimes, and you gotta understand, it's a game where you just gotta experience life and be able to understand that certain experiences will help you to hone your skills of handling people, being able to tell whether or not if someone has a good tendency or a bad tendency. I'm sure a lot of you are just wondering, how do you handle people then? Well, that's the answer. You gotta figure out if people have good tendencies or bad tendencies. You gotta accept them for who they are, and you gotta be able to understand that, hey, you gotta experience life to the fullest. You gotta talk to different amounts of people. You gotta be able to surround yourself with a lot of people, meaning get out of your comfort zone, meet some new people, figure out how they behave, figure out certain traits, figure out certain behavior patterns, because at the end of the day, this will help you to differentiate whether or not they have good or bad tendencies. Just remember to take it easy and everything will be fine.